Hey guys, welcome to a new video from nzpocketguide.com. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different and we're going to talk about our top 10 favorite board games to play when we're on the go. Alright, so we decided to do this video, guys, because we just reached 20,000 subscribers on the channel, and to say thank you, we wanted to do something a little bit more personal and tell you something about us that you may not know. Well, despite the fact that we are big travelers, we're also big nerds, and when we travel around, we love playing board games. We are really addicted to board games. We have a ton of board games in our house, and we always pack a couple of board games when we travel around New Zealand. So today I'm going to be talking about 10 of our favorite board games to use when we travel around, and tell you a little bit about them and tell you, why they are awesome. Alright, so let's get started with the first one. The first one is called Illusion. So it comes in a very small box, so it's pretty easy to carry. And Illusion is a really cool board game. It is very simple. You get plenty of cards in there, and all the cards have different shapes and colors. And you need to class them one by one onto the amount of said color on it. So for example, if you get the color red, you're going to get a card and you think there's about like 5% of red on there. You're going to place it on the table. The next person is going to have to decide if there's more or less and then place it on the table and so on. And then at some point, you can just stop and scream, "I don't believe it!" And you flip all the cards and at the back you get the result. If you are correct and your gut feeling was like, "I knew those two ones were wrong, this one had much more red than this one." If your gut feeling was right, you get an arrow, which is basically a point, and if you were wrong, the previous person will get the arrow, which is basically a point. And the first person at 3 arrows wins. It's a super fast game to play. It really doesn't require a lot of table space, just a standard table would definitely do, and it's really fun to play around, and it works very well with kids as well. So Illusion is super cheap and super fun. Moving on to the next, it's called Struggled for Catan. So if you guys have ever heard of the board gaming culture, you probably have heard of Catan. So this is more of a serious board games, and it's mostly, I think it's just for 2 players, right? No, 2 to 4 players. So you can have up to 4 players on there. We usually play at 2. And you are trying to build the best civilization or populate the island of Catan. So you're going to get some resources like sheep or ore, and you're going to exchange them for settlements or cities. And those cities will give you special powers and then keep on going on and on. And the first person to reach a certain amount of points wins the game. It's a very classic game, so if you're a bit more of a nerd for gaming and you want something a little bit higher than an entry-level game, then this is for you. Alright, moving on to the next game, we have Sushi Go. This is a very fun game. It's more of a party game even. So you're going to get a certain amount of cards in your hand, and you're going to pick one and place it face down in front of you. Then you're going to give all your cards to the next player, and you're going to receive the cards from the other player. At that point, you're going to reveal your new card and place it in front of you. Those cards will have a certain amount of points depending on which set. So let's say you get 3 sashimis, for example, that would be worth 3 points, but if you only get 1 sashimi, you get 0 points. So you may want to try to get as many sashimis as possible, but that person right here is going to try not to give you the sashimi anymore, so they're going to try to play them before you, and you may just be left with a ton of maki rolls that you're not collecting. So this is how the game kind of plays, and once you are left with no card left in your hands, then you count the points, you add them up, and you see who win the game. It's a very simple, easy game, pretty small on it in a tin, so very easy to carry. Alright, the next one is the game that Laura and I have played to death. In fact, we played it that much that we have 2 of them in this box. I'm going to show you actually how small that game can be when you carry it around and you travel. This is all you need. You just need that amount of cards. We placed them in a plastic sleeve because we destroy them so much. It's kind of a bluffing game, so you are basically trying to get the favors of the princess, and so you have cards ranging from 1 to 8 with a number, right? So you are playing card for the special power. For example, you have a card, when you play it, you get to guess a number that the person has. So for example, let's say I'm going to say you have card number 7. That person looks and say, "No, I don't." and so then you pass on to the next person. And once there is no card left, once everybody has played their special power, you know, sometimes you have compare two cards in secret, and you know, you point at Laura and you say, okay, I'm comparing it with her, and then she has a lower number than you have, then she's eliminated. And once you are out of card, which goes really quickly since there is only about like 20 cards in the game or something like that, 16 cards, let's tell you, you compare the remaining players, and the player with the highest point wins this round. If you get 7 scoring points, depending, I mean, if you play 2 players it's 7, but depending on how many players play, if you get to a certain amount of points, you win the game. It plays really quickly, it requires no space whatsoever, it's fantastic. We always have love letters when we travel around, so if you ever see us on the road, ask us to play love letters. The next one is for sale. If you're after a game which is a little bit more simple than Monopoly, because Monopoly takes forever and is just based on luck, you want to go for sale. There's 2 rounds in there. The first one, you bid some money tokens to get some properties, and then the properties are ranked by numbers, and then you're going to bid some properties to get some paychecks, which are a lot of money, and at the end you check how much money you got out of all the paychecks, and the one with the most money wins. It is super easy. It's a bidding type game. It's super fun. Again, I'm using some gaming terms right here, but I hope that you guys are following. There are, you know, I kept all like just simple games to play. We do obviously have much more complex game. If you are a gamer right now, know that we finished Gloomhaven twice with Laura, so that's to tell you. But now we're gonna move to Cinco Linko, a simple game as well. So this game is so travel friendly that it comes in a neat little box. I'm gonna actually get it out and show it to you guys. It comes with the clip right here, so you can clip that onto a backpack, and this is how you carry the game. It's very simple. It plays 4 players. You got one player takes one tower like this one, and in the tower you get a bunch of little tokens. You place the token on the board, and you can only place it side by side with another token, so they can only touch like that, right? And it can be a token of any colors. You just place them side by side. The first person that links 5 of its own token, either vertically, horizontally or diagonally, wins the game. But the trick is that it's not like tic-tac-toe, because at the end, when you are running out of tokens, you're probably not going to have a winner. And at that point, you get to pick one token and place it somewhere else on the board. And it keeps on going that way until you have a winner. It really doesn't take long once you start moving the pieces to actually get a winner, because that's when the game becomes really tricky. It is super fun to play, and it's called Cinco Linko. Alright, moving on to the next game that we have in a fun tin as well. This one is called Zombie Dice. You really do not need the tin. What you need is just a bunch of dice which is inside. So you get a big bunch of dice right here, and that's all you need to carry around. Oops, I hope that this didn't break my computer. So you roll 3 dice at a time, and dice either have a skull, a shotgun shell, or where is it? Or footpath right here, footsteps. Alright, for every brain you roll, you get 1 point. And you get on rolling as long as you roll 3 dice. So let's say I'm going to roll 3 dice right now. I've got 1 brain. I'm going to keep the brain. I've got a shotgun shell, so I'm going to keep that, and I have 1 more of the footpath. So I'm going to take 2 more dice. I keep my die, and I keep on rolling. For every brain I get a point. The first person at 13 wins. The trick is you need to know when to stop, because if you ever have 3 shotgun shells, you lose everything you just had. So you're down to, you get 0 point for that round, and then the next player goes. So sometimes you're going to have a good roll and you're going to get 6 brain, and then you're going to roll 1 and you're going to get 3 shotgun shell, or you're going to get 1 shotgun shell but you already had 2 shotgun shell in your bank. So at that point you lose. So it's a really fun kind of Yahtzee style game. It's a lot of fun to play, very easy, usually gets a crowd going together. It's really, really cool. Moving on to the next one, we have Hanabi. So Hanabi is a really fun game. The concept is very simple. You are trying to get series of numbers with by colors. So let's say you need to get all the green cards from 1 to 5 in order, and then you also need to do the yellow, the reds, the blues, all in order. It's very simple. You get a hand of 5 cards in your hand. However, when you hold a card, rather than knowing what you have in your hands, see, this is what's on the card. I actually hold the card facing away, so all I see is black and white. So this is what I have right here, and people, i.e. other players, have to give me clues on what I have in my hand, and I need to remember which card is which to know when I play it. because if I play a 4 red before we play the red 3, then we lose one of our safety lives. And if we lose all our lives, we lose. So it's a game which is called a cooperative game. That means that you all win or lose together. There is no, there is no competition right here. We're not going to declare only one winner. We're all going to win or lose together. It's really fun to play. Families love that game because it gets everybody to play together, and you never have someone that runs out crying because they lost at the game. All right, moving on to cooperative game again. That's my second, so that's number 2 on my list of top 10 games. This is called The Mind. This game is absolutely fantastic when you travel and fantastic at bringing people together. Here's how the game plays. It's super simple. You get a bunch of cards, and depending on which level you are, you get an amount of cards. So let's say I've got 3 cards right here. So I have 6, 65 and 77. I know my cards. I don't know what everybody else has. There is 100 cards in the pack. You never have the 100 cards in, out at the same time. So I'm just gonna wait. And I'm just gonna wait to see if someone's playing something below 6, because I have a 6. No one seems to be playing. No one seems to be moving. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna play my 6. You play your 6 on the table, and everything is happening in silence. We all just, carefully look at each other and keep on going that way, and we try to play the cards in order. If you are playing let's say I play a 65 but someone had a 60 in his hands and they didn't play it, then we do lose 1 life. So they place it in front of them and we keep on going. If everybody gets rid of all their cards in their hands and we did it in order, we win this round and we move on to the next level, and at that point we're gonna get 4 cards and not just 3, and we need to go up to the certain amount of level. It can be 10, it can be 12, depending on what difficulty and amount of player you're playing with. It is a fantastic game. It just gets everybody to connect together. It's a great game to kind of get people to bond together. It's phenomenal for that alone. It's a great thing to pack as well. It's only 100 cards, so it's basically as big as 2 normal packs of cards, so super easy to carry around. So that's my number 2, and for my number 1 travel game, I present you with a game called Archaeology. So for all those games, I'm going to put a link in the description to find those games. But Archaeology is a fantastic game. It's super simple. There is a bunch of cards in the middle and you get a bunch of cards. Each card has a value and you are basically digging to create the best museum. So I'm going to show you some cards right here. So let's say I have a pharaoh's mask and coins. So I can drop a pharaoh's mask which is worth, so we have pharaoh's mask right here which is worth 4. I can get worth of 4 cards, so I can get 2 of the coins, or I can get a coin and 2 parchments which are worth 1, and so on. And once I create set, the scoring is written right here. If I have 1 of those, I have 1 point, but if I have 4 of those, I have 10. When I have 4 in my hand, I place it in front of me as part of my museum, and bam, I score 10 points straight away. If those one I get like maybe 3 of those, I get 12 points, and if I get 4 of those, I get 50 points, and so on. It's super fun, super simple. Be careful, sometimes there is a sandstorm that makes you lose half your hand, so you may want to play some cards quickly before that happens. Sometimes there's a thief that takes things off your hands, and it's just super fun. It scales very well, so that means that it goes very well from 2 to 5 players, and it plays really, really, really fun. And same thing, is very simple and easy to carry around. We have had success playing games with complete strangers. All of those games we play them with complete strangers when traveling. Should it be on a restaurant table, at a bar table, on the floor at a hostel, or everything in between, even sometimes in a camper van, sometimes in the car, sometimes literally during a hike. I remember playing Hanabi actually in front of a waterfall with a bunch of people. Super fun. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you again for subscribing to the channel. We are stoked to have 20,000 subscribers. If you did find this video useful, hit the like button. If you're brand new to this channel, you may want to subscribe. You want to check out some of the other videos. And if you want more travel tips, including a list of the top 10 best travel games with more in writing and more links and everything like that, you can head to nzpocketguide.com. There is a link in the description below. Oh, and join us for a live session as well. It's at 8 a.m. Sunday, New Zealand time, every single Sunday. You can come hang out with us, ask us all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. There's a link on that in the description below too. Bye bye.